Greetings, witches. Today we're going to learn about protection magic. How to protect yourself from all sorts of negative energies, negative people, negative events, and things happening in your life. It's a pretty common form of magic, and it's something that people have used for probably centuries. Now, there are different kinds of protection from different things. You could have actual physical danger, but you could also have protection against malicious spells, hexes, jinxes, magic tricks, negative enchantments, if somebody was to use negative magic on you, or the evil eye. Also, other spiritual dangers from spiritual sources. This could be deliberate or unintentional. Negative energy, negative entities, any kind of negativity from coming in your life. Now, it could be your boss, it could be a family member, it could be from anything. So one thing we can use is, we'll start with crystals. So there is one type of crystal, quartz. So this is an example of a rough, unpolished pink quartz. And these are some clear quartz chips. This is clear quartz on there. And then quartz is known to be an amplifier. So I usually keep it on my altar, or when I'm doing divination, channeling, spell casting, any of that kind of magical work, I will use a quartz on my table because it's an amplifier. So anything you do, it helps add energy to it, amplify your intentions, and that sort of thing. Now, the other most common one is amethyst. You'll always see also when I do my videos, when I do any kind of magical work, divination, tarot cards, I always keep amethyst. This is a big geode, or a chunk of a geode of amethyst. Amethyst, at least in Canada, is very easy to get and not very expensive. I do know of an amethyst mine. We're going to visit it. This is amethyst chips. Now the chips of each stone are nice because they're very inexpensive and you can fit them anywhere. So we're going to make some little spell jars like this today and some little spell jars like this. So we're going to put one of these ones in each corner of the house to keep your space clear. And we're going to make a little kind of portable one. You could wear it even almost as a necklace with some string tied around it. You could bring it to work and keep it on your desk to protect yourself from negative energy, negative coworkers, negative bosses. Keep it in your purse, keep it in your pocket, keep it in your car to prevent road rage, protect you from other people's road rage, anywhere place you might need protection. So this is a kind of handy little thing. So I like using the chips because you can put a couple chips in there with your herbs and everything else we're going to be adding to it today. And yeah, it's kind of portable little spell jar. Any kind of black crystal is generally good for protection because it's thought to absorb any kind of negativity. So one example of a black stone is hematite. I don't have any with me right now. Or obsidian. Obsidian is kind of popular these days because of Game of Thrones, because the dragon glass was made of obsidian. So, you know, killing dead ice zombies or ice dragons is probably an example of it being protection and taking out negative energy. Citrine is another one. It's thought to generate positivity. So it's kind of sunshiny and happy, so it'll generate positivity. So I don't think I'll put this one in today because we're doing more protection, but you can add this for protection to generate positivity with your spell. We're going to focus on protection today. Selenite is another one. I do have a nice selenite wand I can't find right now. Smoky quartz is another. Labradorite, which I grabbed. Okay, Labradorite actually comes from Canada, from the province of Labrador. And it's a very beautiful stone. It's one of my favorites for looks. So those are different kinds of crystals you can use for protection. I actually used to wear this quite often. It has an amethyst. It was silver. It's tarnished now because I haven't worn it in so long. But this is, I used to wear this for protection, as well as an amethyst necklace. But now I have my protective sigils permanently on me. So that's another way you can protect yourself, is with crystal jewelry. So herbs. Probably the most popular protection herb is sage. So this is an example of sage. You can burn it and do smudging. It's supposed to banish negativity, dark energies, protective. I use it for cleansing all my magic working instruments, all my crystals, my herbs, my home. I will go through the house and put the smoke around all over. Some people like the smell of it. A lot of people don't. If you live in an apartment, you probably can't burn this. But one thing you can do, they do make a spray, a sage spray from the oil. You can also get sage. I usually grow it in the garden. So this is dried sage. So normally this is a store-bought one, but normally I would grow this in the garden, kind of bind it up myself and burn it. But you can also get ground sage. You can also get usually fresh sage at the grocery store as well. So that's just some ground sage. Another one you can use is you can plant juniper bushes around your house. Again, not always easy, convenient, or possible if you live in an apartment or a renter. You can also take a bath in herbs. One thing I did quite often was I would buy chamomile tea bags and put them in the bath. So my daughter once asked her dad for tea bags in her bath. And he said, "Are you crazy? Why would you put tea bags in your bath?" So, well, Mommy lets us make tea in the bath. And, well, yeah, I had some explaining to do, but it is nice. So you can buy some nice chamomile. That's more of a cleansing than a protection. It's also really good for your skin. So, but protective herbs, you can pause some of them. Yeah, they're not really ones you'd want to bathe in, but you could use lavender, thyme, rosemary. You may come out smelling like spaghetti sauce. Basil is another one. But some of the protective herbs, like crushed red pepper, probably do not want to bathe in that. Or even cayenne pepper. So these are just both from the grocery store. We've got cayenne and red pepper, crushed red pepper. They're both good for protection. They're work as a barrier against negative spirits. Definitely would not want to bathe in that. So we've also got some other examples of black pepper is another one that's used for protection. So these are whole peppercorns from the grocery store that I just had in my cupboard. I also have ground black pepper. Now I know the Americans get a kick out of our Canadian bilingual laws where everything has to be in French and English from the store. But there is some ground black pepper. So that's also good for protection. So there's also basil, bay leaves, rosemary, thyme, which I don't have right now. There's also mint. So mint is good for clearing and protecting. So this is some mint I grew in the garden a couple of years ago. There's not much left. It's kind of crumbly now, but it's just mint leaves. We use it usually to just make tea. Pour boiling water over it and you have some mint tea. But you can also get mint out of a tea bag. So once you get a tea bag, ingredients, peppermint, it's just ground up mint leaves in a handy little pouch. So you could put this right in your jar if you were making a larger protection jar, or cut it open and pour some in. Many different ways. There's also salt is used often for protection. So when I moved into this home, I took salt and sprinkled it around the perimeter. I sprinkled it near the doorways, on the door frames, and around the perimeter of the home as a circle of protection. Now you can use any salt. I have some sea salt here, sel de mer, if you want to be bilingual about it, or ground pink salt. Pink salt, sea salt, table salt, it's all the same. You use whatever you have or whatever you like, whatever you prefer. And yeah, if you don't have the herbs, another way to do it is with oils. So we had the mint leaves, the mint tea bags, and there's also mint oil. It's just an essential oil extracted from mint leaves. You can also use cedar. So you could use cedar boughs, cedar leaves. Now this is protective and grounding. You can also use patchouli oil, which is another one for protection. So what we're going to do is we're going to mix this all up in a bowl. So I'm going to use this spoon to mix it. This was handed down from my mother. It was gifted to her by my aunt. It's just part of the cutlery. So normally you would pick one or two things and mix it together, as many as you want, whatever you have on hand. Different countries in the world, different traditions, use all different things, depending on what's available and what's handy and what their tradition is. We're going to throw a bit of everything in just because that's what I have and it's ready to go. So let's put some salt in here. I think you should have the primary base be made of salt. And of course it's not working. So we're just going to pour some salt in here. It's a new box and it's too full. Okay. We've got some salt. I'm going to throw in some pink salt also, because why not? Bay leaves are also excellent for protection. We'll add some of those at the end. Now let's go with a little bit of black pepper. Like I said, normally you'd pick a couple things. You don't have to put all of these things. Whatever is convenient, whatever appeals to you. Maybe a little cayenne. Maybe a few. I'm not going to touch the red peppers. case I forget and rub my eyes. Some red peppers in there. And we have a bit of sage. Sure is smelly. It smells very good. And I'm gonna put some mint leaves. From my garden. I do prefer to grow my own herbs, but yeah, my garden didn't work out last year. So I was away at the hottest point of the summer and everything kind of shriveled up. And I lost my harvest, or most of it. The herbs, all of the herbs actually. So now let's try some oils in there. We're going to put some peppermint. Some cedar wood. It smells very nice in here. Thankfully the pepper didn't make me sneeze on camera, but we're not done yet. It could still happen. A little bit of patchouli. That one's getting pretty dried up. That one might be finished. We're going to mix this up. And it is a lot of salt. Salt is a primary protector. So when I moved into this house, I smudged it. I put a salt ring. I put salt on the door frames, the thresholds. And then I also left an offering to bring in positive energy, positive spirits, positive entities, helpful guides. And how I did that was some bread and honey that I left on a plate on the counter before we moved in for about a week. Now, if you don't have a week, that's fine. That's when I had the chance to put it and when I was able to leave it. So I cleansed with the sage, I protected, and then I left an offering. So now what we can do is some energy work, because we want to infuse this with our energy, with some power, and with some magic. So one way I like to do it is with energy, because I'm an energy worker, Reiki master. So I like to envision energy coming down through the crown chakra from the galactic center, from heaven, however you want to envision it, divine white light. I pictured it sparkly, silver, white, coming down through my crown chakra, infusing my body, down through all of my chakras. I'm not going to go through each one because you can look that up. There's lots of information on your different energy centers of your body. And then I'm also going to bring energy up from the center of the earth up through my root chakra. So you can imagine it coming up through roots into your root chakra and up. I'm feeling this energy, so it's harder to talk, but it's coming up through your body, through your energy centers, through the core of your being. And now you can breathe. Sometimes you have to do a bit of a meditative state to bring up this energy. I like to just picture it. I like to envision it, the energy flowing up through the earth into me and down from the heavens into me. Now what I'm going to do is imagine it coming through my body, down my arms, and into my hands. I'm going to picture it as, in my mind, as a glowing ball of energy in my hands. So what I can do is rub it together, build up that energy in my hands. I say, may this protect me from forces seen and unseen, physical and unphysical. keep my home, my family safe and protected and free of negativity and harm. And then have it. I'm also imbuing this with Reiki energy. So you have the divine energy, the earth energy, and I'm also using the Reiki energy, which is just a different frequency. I feel it as if it comes in from the side. And when I call upon my Reiki energy, I see special Reiki guides that guide me. You don't need to have Reiki to do this. And you can say whatever words you want. I just came up with those off the top of my head without planning them ahead of time. Another way you can do it. So I have this book. Now this is, I'm just going to move this over a little bit. So, the Encyclopedia of 5,000 Spells, written by Judica Isles. I got this secondhand from a secondhand bookstore for $20. I've checked on Amazon. There's a new cover for the new edition, and it runs $75 to $100 Canadian. So, if you go in here, now it's got a whole chapter on protection spells. It's got all sorts of things in here because a lot of people prefer to call on particular entities to protect them and to put in to your spell. So in here it's got a lot of interesting things like planting aloe vera where you want to be protected, around different areas or rooms of your home, having an aloe vera plant. I find a lot of this book is a little more rare things that I've never heard of. I've never come across black cohosh before. So you can use a bell for protection. Bells are used quite often in magic. We've also got, I found this one interesting, body protection spell using your genitals. So it says that if there is a bad ghost around, a troublesome ghost, to immediately search. Okay. The life-affirming powers of female genitalia so powerfully counteract forces of death, deterioration, and destruction that merely flashing the real thing forces a troublesome ghost to immediately search for a different house to haunt. But it says rarely practical. I can't imagine being confronted with a troublesome ghost and my first thought to be to flash them. North Africa, a dried cow vulva is sometimes stretched and posted on stakes to serve as magically protective sentinels. I don't think that that's really practical in this day and age, but there is all sorts of menstrual blood spells, botanical garden spells. We've got, what I found interesting was incense and a fiery wall of protection powder using flour, henna, jet powder, I don't know what that is, lava, I don't have any lava on hand, rice flour, rum, salt, tobacco, turquoise, all sorts of stuff, whiskey, wormwood, and cast a circle with this powder. Now, a lot of people, as I was saying, call on spirits or entities for protection, deities. A really common, I like working with angels. I channel angels. I was raised Catholic, so that might be part of it. I love the angels. I love the energy I bring in from the angels. And for protection, you quite often want to call on the Archangel Michael. He's got his big blue sword, and I've worked with him and his sword in the past, and you can call on him to give you protection. So I like this one spell here. It says, Michael to the right of me, Michael to the left of me, Michael above me, Michael below me, Michael within me, Michael all around me, Michael, with your flaming sword of cobalt blue, please protect me today. There's another one. Oh, Archangel Michael, protect me with an iron door. Lock it 3 times, 9 locks and keys. 3 times 9 locks and keys. So there's all different incantations and ways to evoke the Archangel Michael. A whole page on them. There's also Guardian Spirit of Joan of Arc, and that's some candle magic. So I'll do another video about candle magic. Right now we're doing protection jars. So here we are. We've got all our herbs, we've got our oils, and we're going to add some crystals. So I'm going to make some jars this size to put around my house. I'm going to make 4 of them so I can put in the 4 corners of the house. You can do it on each level that's inhabited. You don't need to do the attic or the basement if there's nobody down there. But I'm going to do 4, 1 in each corner of the house. You would want to put a cover on it. These are little jam jars I got that have a lid, so you can cover it if you have pets, or they're quite smelly actually. And then we're going to do one of the little portables. So I am just going to take some of these chips. I'm going to put 1 in each jar. You could put more than 1, it doesn't matter. Whatever you feel. Let's do 2. Actually, let's do 3. 3 is a good magical number. 3 and 3. Just 3 little chips. And these are so inexpensive that it does not hurt to use a bunch. Got some amethyst for protection. So the black absorbs negativity. The amethyst is for protection. And then we're going to use some clear quartz for amplification, just to give a little kick to our magic. Like I said, you can use 1 thing, 2 things, as many as you have on hand. You want to go out and buy a bunch of stuff because it's fun and crafty, you can do that too. You do magic with your feelings. So now we're going to just have this little funnel. Okay, my mint leaves don't want to go through the funnel. I should put those in last. Note to self. Now if I'd cut open the tea bag, then it would be nice and ground up to go in through my funnel. Okay, so I'll just add some mint leaves. We do also have the mint oil in there. You can really smell the mint oil. And we're also going to do some bay leaves. So I'm going to stick a whole bay leaf in there. So with the little jars, what I'm going to do is put 1 in my purse, and I'm going to take 1 to work, and I'm just going to sit at the back of my desk behind the monitor where nobody can really see it, and keep it there. Now if you wanted to wear it, you could tie a cord around it and put it around your neck. I also found these cool little decorative tapes. Fearless and powerful. Fearless and powerful. I decorated a little bit. You could write a mantra on there. You could write something on a piece of paper and roll it up there, kind of like a little message to the universe in a bottle, asking for protection or look up or make up a protection prayer, whatever you like. It's your magic, baby. You use it. So that's it for this video. I hope you learned a little bit about protection magic. Have a nice day, witches.